let's talk about Dragon Ball The Breakers. For those of you who don't know what that is, Dragon Ball The Breakers is an asymmetric online multiplayer game where there are 7 survivors and 1 raider. The survivor's job is to just do that, survive and get out without dying, and the raider's job is to kill all the survivors. It's basically Dead by Daylight, but they made it a Dragon Ball game. And you know, I actually really enjoy this game. I've been playing it daily. Not, okay, that's a lie. I've been playing it somewhat daily. I played it almost every day since launch. Grinding the Dragon Tier, then when Season 2 dropped, I went on the grind again and started playing it daily again. And I really do enjoy the game. I love the gameplay itself. Everything around it fucking sucks. Allow me to just express some issues I have with the game, some concerns I have with the game. Hopefully some of this shit gets fixed, because it's an issue. Let's talk about the first major problem with the game, the gacha. They somehow made one of the most important parts of the survival gameplay aspect a gacha mechanic, and it is infuriating. So how the gacha works is that they're called spirit siphons or warrior spirits. I don't fucking know what the game calls it. There's 5 different fucking names for anything revolving around that thing, and it's confusing. But let's just call them spirits. The spirits are the souls of characters that we know and love. We can equip up to 3 of these spirits to attain that character's power in gameplay. Aside from having different super attacks, they also have different abilities. This could range from running faster, double jumping, shit is cheaper, a motorbike, shields, a multitude of different things relating to that spirit. And the problem with it is that you can get duplicates of these spirits. What happens when you get a duplicate? The game gives you, I think they're called warrior spirits or super warrior spirits, whatever the fuck, energy, I don't know. There's so many different fucking currencies in this game, it's hard to keep track of. But you get a different currency for getting a dupe. What you can do with that energy is upgrade your existing abilities and buy super attacks you don't have. But you can't buy abilities that you don't have. Even if you have the character that ability goes with, you cannot buy the ability that you didn't drop. You have to get it through gacha drops. Why is that annoying? Because the most broken and important skills that you would want to use on your characters have a 0.001% chance of dropping. This shit sucks. It especially sucks when rolling 10 doesn't guarantee you shit. I don't know how other gachas make it work, but I sure as hell hope it's not the way this fucking works. Because in order to even get enough currency to do a 10 roll, because it's not the same as the energy that I just mentioned, you need Zenny to do gacha rolls. How do you get Zenny? By playing the game. It's that simple. The problem is 10 rolls are so fucking expensive. On average, on a game that you win, you can get 4,000 Zenny each, right? A single roll costs 15,000 Zenny, I believe. A 10 roll costs 1,500,000. That's 30 plus games. That is a you have to play a ridiculous amount of games just to get enough to do one 10 roll that, from my experience, has always been dupes, and none of it has ever been good. The amount of times I've done a 10 roll and have never gotten anything useful is beyond ridiculous. And I realize that this is only an issue for people who have played the game longer than the normal player, right? This is an issue that people with 100 hours of gameplay run into. Because once you have the majority of the spirits, that's all you're gonna get is the common drops. Which makes the super rare ones even more infuriating to miss, because you've played for hours to get that 10 roll, and you're not rewarded for it. It's just infuriating. And they think they could fix this by putting microtransactions in the game. And it's funny because the microtransactions are also a problem. Lo and behold. So I've already mentioned there's spirit energy, or whatever the fuck it's called. There's the normal Zenny that you can earn in-game. Then there's the TP medals. That's the premium currency. Now the good thing about that is that you can earn these in-game as well. It's very rare, but you can earn them in-game through leveling up. And the Dragon Tier as well, which is the game's Battle Pass, quote-unquote. Now, obviously, with that in mind, there's only very limited amount of opportunities for you to get TP medals, and once you're in, like, the level 100s area, you are barely getting shit. So, at some point, you run into the issue of, if you want the new shit, you have to start dropping more money, like actual money. Now, it'd be one thing if the TP medals were just used for the gacha rolls. It's not. In fact, I would say there's something even more important that you should be saving those fucking TP medals for, and it's the new characters. Once Season 2 dropped, they released a new Raider you can play as and 2 Survivor skins. Each of these costs 550 TP medals. There is a bundle that you can buy that has all that stuff for only 1,100, I believe. 1,150 TP medals, I believe. That is cheaper than buying all of them individually, I'll give it that. That is still fucking expensive. Here's why. So if I wanted to purchase TP medals in order to buy the new characters, $2 is only 200 TP medals. That is still not enough. What does $10 get me? 1,100 TP medals. So if I were to put this into real world money, if you wanted to buy that bundle for all the new characters and stuff, that is at least like $13, maybe $14. The cheapest option is $2. The most expensive option is $45, which gets you 5,400 TP. And I get that you can earn these in-game, so it's not entirely like you have to do microtransactions in order to get what you want. But with the way they're handling this, and with the way that you are limited with how much TP medals you can get in a given season, it's scummy. And it makes it even worse when I tell you that there's even more shit that costs TP medals. Fucking cosmetics cost TP medals. This I can, like, okay, you know, you can make the argument that, oh, it doesn't affect gameplay, so it doesn't matter if someone wants to spend money on it. No. Listen, there is some basic-ass looking cosmetics that cost TP medals, and it doesn't make sense from the other cosmetics that cost Zenny. Yes, so the more common item that you can get, the Zenny, you can also use to purchase cosmetics. Now, what's the difference between an item that costs Zenny and an item that costs TP medals? No fucking clue, because some of them are just generic looking. There's another thing too, voice lines. Raiders can spam voice lines as taunts, basically. Some of these cost Zenny, some of these cost TP medals. This one makes no goddamn sense. Why does one voice line cause the premium currency when another doesn't? Like, some of these cause 100 TP medals. Why? Look, they're fucking voice lines. Who wants to spend fucking TP medals on fucking voice lines? Like, it wouldn't be that bad if it made sense. It just doesn't. To talk about the Dragon Tier a bit, how it works is, in order to go up the Dragon Tier, you need to get Dragon Points. I know, another fucking currency. So how the Dragon Points work is that every time you log in, you'll be given a new daily set of challenges. There's also weekly challenges. By completing these challenges, you get Dragon Points towards your Dragon Tier. Makes sense? They're basically experience points for the Battle Pass. Makes sense, right? The issue I have is that you're only allowed a certain amount of Dragon Points per day. once you've done all your dailies, all your weeklies, you can't progress in the dragon tier anymore, which makes future games in that day kind of pointless because you're not making any progress, if that makes sense. You could say, oh, but you're grinding for the gacha as well. Well, like I said, you're barely given enough to warrant wanting to play more for those 10 gacha rolls. Like, after I'm done with my dailies, I feel like every other game after that is just pointless because you're not given enough as any, and even if I do get a gacha roll, it won't fucking matter. It's gonna be all dupes anyway. And like, winning isn't even rewarding. Like, I very satisfied when I win a game. Survivor or Raider, doesn't matter. It's very satisfying to win. I don't feel like I'm rewarded enough for that victory. Because regardless of how well I did in the game, my reward is the same regardless. If I win or lose, if I did poorly, if I fucking threw so fucking hard that we lost the game, I feel like my reward is not any different from if I did any better. I feel like none of the actions I do matter towards my overall progress. And that fucking sucks, right? Like, at this point, I'm like level 109, I think? And nothing matters at that point, because you're not getting enough experience to even level up to even get rewards. And at this point, the rewards are just fucking Zenny, 3 TP medals, and maybe I get a season ticket. But, you know, saving up the season tickets that you get through leveling up isn't the same as saving up a season 2 ticket, because a season 2 ticket the developers hand out regularly, right? They have a Xenoverse 2 crossover event where if you do some things in Xenoverse 2, you get rewards and breakers, and vice versa. Some of those rewards are tickets and TP medals and Zennies, which I find very helpful. Like, that's more shit I can do to help my progress. Some of that is tickets, and for the season 2 tickets, I do save those up for a 10 roll, because at least that way I have a consistent way of getting those tickets. There's a separate ticket that are gold. I don't know what it's usually called, but it's a golden ticket. They never hand these out, and I don't think it's worth saving them up. I just use them immediately. Sometimes they give it up for maintenance. Sometimes they give it up for level ups. It doesn't matter. None of it fucking matters, because guess what? That roll's just going to be a dupe anyway. I feel like there's another thing I wanted to talk about, but it completely fucking left my mind after I started talking about Xenoverse 2. I'm just going to move on to the next thing. Regardless of who I'm playing as, Survivor or Raider, I have fun either way. Like, I find fun in both aspects. Different aspects, obviously. Like, I like playing Survivor more than I do Raider, but if I get a Raider game, I'm still excited. I'm a bitch when I'm playing Raider, but you know what? That's just me. You know, the game allows me to play bitch moves, so you know what? Play lame, win games, am I right? But the problem with the Raider is that, especially when it comes to the new Raider Vegeta, they're a little too overpowered, right? Like, especially Vegeta. Vegeta is fucking fast. And when he's level 4 in his grade 8 form, I feel like at that point it's fucking pointless. Like, if Cell gets to level 4 or Frieza gets to level 4, I feel like there's still a chance that we can win. Vegeta gets to level 4, it's over. Like, there's no chance of winning after that, because he is just that overpowered. He can't be staggered. Throwing anything that stuns Raiders normally doesn't work on him. And his animations are so jank that using the new item, Yajirobe's Katana, isn't effective. Like, and I've seen it used, and it doesn't do shit. Like, I feel like, what's the point of even carrying it around if it's not going to help? Like, most Vegeta games that I run into nowadays, we have to, like, speed up the process of the time machine once he gets to level 3. Because if he gets to level 4, it's over. The game's fucking done. The Raider wins. And that fucking sucks. And it sucks even more so because Vegeta level 3, by himself, is already overpowered. This might just sound like me complaining about Vegeta, but no, I have other shit to say about the other Raiders. When they buffed Cell during Season 1, I forgot when, but it was in, like, the middle of Season 1 because, like, he was losing the most games. They buffed him. How they buffed him, they made it easier for him to level up. this became a huge fucking problem in my opinion, because now it is way too easy for them to become perfect, and it doesn't make Cell that much more terrifying to fight because we still win our Cell games, but fuck, it's terrifying. And like, once a Cell becomes a certain level, they've probably upgraded some of their skills or abilities to level up faster, and that becomes a huge fucking problem once they start exploiting that, because it takes like 2 kills for them to become level 3. It's fucking ridiculous. And it takes like 3 additional kills after that to become level 4. Like, the scaling for Cell is just fucking busted. Frieza, I feel like, is the least broken of all the Raiders, but he's also still a bitch. Because, how Zarbon and Dodoria work, he basically can control the whole map depending on how he spaces them, right? He becomes a huge fucking problem. Because, especially good Friezas. Friezas who know what the fuck they're doing, they're a fucking menace. And Boo, I feel like, out of all the fucking Raiders, needs nerfs. There's nothing stopping Boo from just sitting at where the good Boo is to prevent them from winning. Like, once you're inside Boo, most of the time the games just end there. Because most Boo players will just sit at where the Raiders need to be to get out and camp it. And you just lose after that. Granted, it takes a lot for them to get to that point, right? Most Boo games I have, they might even die at level 1. It's funny. But if given the opportunity to get to level 4, that part of the game fucking sucks. And this is just a small, like, thing that I think would be beneficial. Don't know if, you know, they'll do this, but I think it would be cool. At least the way I see it. Most Raider games are very predictable, because if you see a Frieza, most likely, in fact, guaranteed, they have the same strategy as the previous Frieza you just fought. They have the same strategy as the Frieza before that one. All Friezas have the same strategy. All Cells have the same strategy. All Boos have the same strategy. You get the point here, right? Because there's no interchangeable skills for the Raiders. They get their set of abilities, and that's it. You can upgrade them to make them stronger, and by stronger I mean make their cooldown smaller. That's really it. But for the most part, it's the same fucking strategy. If you've seen a Vegeta player, you know how they play. There is no differing strategies when it comes to the Raiders. I would like there to be interchangeable skills that the Raiders could have, instead of being locked to the ones that they have. That way games are like less predictable, I guess, and more entertaining when we run into a Frieza and instead of going final form he goes golden or some shit, you know? Like, I just feel like there's way more interesting things they can do with the Raiders that they're just not doing. But that's just me. Ever since Season 2, the matchmaking has fucking sucked. I think it was perfect the way it was before. The way it works is that, at least in Season 1, there's still an option for it to work the way it was in Season 1, but it's still not as good because of the new features they added. So how it works is, you can queue up for matchmaking and you can prefer to be a survivor or a raider or have no preference. So when you finally get matched up, you have a chance of being either or. If you prefer to be raider, but you end up in a game where you're a survivor, you get priority the next match to be a raider, vice versa. It was a very interesting system. It made it so games were always happening. There wasn't stagnant of people who wanted to be survivors more often than raiders, right? With Season 2, they kind of fucked it. Now how it works is you can choose whether you want to queue up specifically for raider or survivor and not have the chance of being the other. I had a moment one night where I was literally sitting in matchmaking for almost 10 minutes because literally no one was queuing up for Raider. Now you might be thinking, oh, could you fix this yourself by queuing up for Raider? No, because if you're queued up with friends, you are forced to queue up for Survivor. And that is something that I fucking hate. In Season 1, that is not how it worked. In Season 1, if you were queued up for friends, any of you could have been the raider. If you were queuing up for it, obviously. And I find that very interesting. But obviously, people exploited the fuck out of that and started boosting off each other. So, Bandai Namco took our fun out, and you can no longer queue up with your friends for a raider. That sucks. There's not even like a custom lobby option to have opportunities like that anymore. You cannot have a game where your friend is a raider and you guys are all survivors unless you play practice mode. I'm not even kidding you, the game is even less fun. Like, I've not even been able to get some of my friends to come back to the game because the matchmaking system is so fucked now. It's kind of stupid. I forgot to even mention this when I was talking about Survivor skins. Survivor skins come with their own set of abilities that are locked behind them, which, you know, that's fine. Why the fuck would they lock an extremely overpowered skill behind a fucking skin? When Season 2 launched, you can purchase Chi-Chi as a Survivor skin. She comes with one of the most overpowered fucking skills for the survivors. It's like the Pan of Mount... something with fire. I forgot what the fuck it's called because I don't have it. I'm not allowed to have it because I'm saving up my money for the fucking bundle. But regardless, this skill creates a huge pillar of fire that the raider just cannot go through. It is an impenetrable wall to them that damages them if they go through it. And when I say it's big, it's fucking huge. And the more you upgrade it, the longer it stays on the field. This makes them drop their Dragon Balls. This makes it so it protects an area they can't go to. It makes it so, like, if there's a survivor on the other side of the wall, they can't get to that survivor anymore because there's a fucking firewall in the way. You can trap them in the cave like this. I heard that in the recent patch notes, they're nerfing this ability, but Jesus Christ, what were they thinking, releasing an ability like this, thinking it was balanced? And to buy a custom skin, that the skin itself is just cosmetics, but the skills it come with are very fucking good. Speaking of customizations, it kind of sucks in this game. I've already talked about how some of the customizations cost Zenny and some of it costs TP medals, and it doesn't make sense whether or. But one of the things that kind of bugs me is that there are backpack cosmetics that have like little characters following you around with them. There's one with Giru, there's one with Icarus, and there's one with Gregory. They are locked behind the backpack that costs TP medals, by the way. And if you have them equipped, you cannot change your backpack. Which, you know, I feel like this could have been avoided if you just, you know, did the same thing that Xenoverse 2 did and just make a separate cosmetic slot for buddies. This is fucking mind-boggling. Like, these are the same fucking devs, right? Or it's not, maybe it's not the same devs, but it's the same fucking engine. Like, it's literally just reusing assets from Xenoverse 2. How are they doing so many wrong things that Xenoverse 2 already did fine? Like fucking vehicle skins. There are vehicle skins in the game, but you will never fucking see them because here's how it works. You can equip a vehicle skin that's unique to your character. There are vehicles throughout the map that you can get on and ride. These are not the ones that affect your skin. These are just basic ass ones. In order to see your specific vehicle skin, you first have to find a somewhat rare suitcase that spawns out of items or chests, or destructible items, I mean. And you open that and you have a chance of your vehicle skin dropping from them. A chance. What's the difference between using that vehicle versus the basic ones outside of the field? Fucking nothing. For at least from what I've noticed, there's no goddamn difference. They have the same speed, they have the same jump, they do the same fucking things. It is fucking pointless to even look for your vehicle skin. Just pick up the closest vehicle to you and use it. Because right now it is still the fastest option of traversing the map. So much so that the raider has trouble keeping up with you if you have a expert driver on. It's just a stupid thing, but what's even more stupider is how you communicate with your survivors. So there's no voice chat in the game. There's no chat in the game. The only way to communicate with other survivors is through stamps. And would you believe me if I told you some stamps cost TP medals? I'm actually fucking fuming at that, right? You need certain stamps in order to properly communicate something to your fellow survivors. Like, I have so much fucking struggle trying to tell my survivors that the Raider has a Dragon Ball. My best way of doing that right now without having to spend any TP medals on a fucking stamp is by spamming the Dragon Ball stamps with the Vegeta stamp of him being angry. That is the only way I can communicate that to them, and I don't think it gets the message across because it just looks like... Here's the thing. People who spam Dragon Ball stamps in-game are spamming it because they're looking for the Dragon Balls. If they're spamming it, they're trying to get the Dragon Balls. If they're chasing someone down with a Dragon Ball and they're spamming the stamp, it's because the person isn't paying attention that they have a Dragon Ball and someone's trying to get it from them. I've seen this multiple times. So if I spam the Dragon Ball stamp with the Vegeta angry stamp, it just looks like I'm mad that no one's giving me the Dragon Balls. Now granted, there is a stamp of Vegeta holding a Dragon Ball. The problem is that stamp costs TP medals. I think it's like 200 something, I think. Or 300 even. A fucking crucial point of the game where you need to communicate something to your teammates, and it costs premium currency. Because there's no other way to communicate to your fellow survivors. To make things even worse, the stamp system fucking sucks, because the only way you can see what stamps are being spammed is the bottom right corner of the screen, where you can see the status of all your fellow survivors. And it's obvious to me, but obviously it's not obvious enough to other people. Like I just mentioned, I have had multiple situations, multiple games, where I've seen a survivor chase down another survivor, spamming the Dragon Ball stamp because he is holding the final Dragon Ball that they need, and he is just not paying attention. It is infuriating. It is ridiculous that something like that even happens, because there's just no good way of communicating. And you know, it's funny, because as I said before, Xenoverse 2 has already found a solve for this. You can communicate with your team members there perfectly fine. There's voice chat in that game. But if you don't have a mic, that's fine, because there's a chat too. Granted, the chat is predetermined text, but that's still more than enough. Like, you can still get your message across with the predetermined text. And even in game, you can choose what quotes you want to have to communicate with your team members. Why is this not an option in fucking Breakers? What, for immersion? I'm trying to communicate to my fucking team members. You think it's immersive to spam stamps more than it is to spam predetermined text? Like, it fucking boggles my mind. You're reusing shit from Xenoverse 2. Why didn't you reuse that? If I could add one feature to Breakers to like make it somewhat more bearable to play after my dailies, give me an option to buy skills. Because rolling gacha for it just makes me not want to play it anymore. Because every fucking time it is dupes. Like I said, I love playing the actual game itself. The actual playing the game is extremely fun to me. Like, I would go as far as to say Breakers is my game right now. Like, it is my online game that I am playing on a regular basis because I like it that much. But even then, I cannot recommend this game to anybody because there is just so much wrong with it. I have some gleaming hope, because in a recent survey, there was a question asked: would you prefer a feature to purchase skills? I did the survey twice to make sure that they knew that needed to be a thing. And even after a fucking patch, that's still not a thing. I need this on launch. I needed this on launch, among other things. I guess I should also mention, during Season 1, this is a real thing I did. During Season 1, they tweeted something at one point, and I was like, I tweeted in a very snarking way, like, maybe instead of this, you guys should start fixing this and this and this, because this is a problem. And then someone replied, maybe send an actual report to the official website. And I went, you know what, I will. So I went on Bandai Namco's website, found out how to do a report, and I wrote a very extensive article to them about all the shit that needs to be fixed. Now, I don't think anyone read it. I'm gonna be real, I don't think anyone fucking read that. I expected nobody to read it. But I did get a reply. I did get a fucking email back of them being like, we see that you were very passionate about the game and that you care about the game's state. We will make sure this reaches the devs. I don't think it did. So that's just a few things that I wanted to express about Dragon Ball The Breakers, my current 2023 game that I'm playing. I love it, but I also hate it. This wasn't the Dragon Ball video I planned on making, but the Dragon Ball video I am currently working on might take a little longer. So I might work on something else in between that, because it's a grind to get what I'm trying to do right now. But anyway, thanks for watching. Oh, I have memberships now. Join if you want. I'm going to do live streams and make exclusive content for members if you guys are interested in that. Anyway, bye!